The story of the advent of Indian holy man Sri Satya Sai Baba into the life of Wilma Bronkey of Grants Pass, Oregon.
We will have a world that is beyond belief, and we will have the world that our beloved Baba says that we are destined to have.
I go mainly because I love to go see Baba, and secondly because Baba told me to bring the tours.
If you were a little scared when you woke up with vibhuti on your mustache one day, what on earth did you think when you found a house half full of vibhuti?
Baba was just blessing us, and let it go at that. I mean, what can you do?
But to go to Baba and answer the question, what do you want? He wants you to pay attention and say, I want to be the best I can be.
First of all, I had never heard of Baba until the time that he sent these messages to me. And I would go upstairs for something, or to see if a child or something, and the smell of vibhuti would get so strong it would be like walking into a wall.
Oh.
Just, I've had it hit me so strong.
Oh, we didn't know what it was.
Sure.
We had no idea what it was.
You just work together, and if you do what he says, that's what he's telling us now. His instructions are do service and love God.
For me, I find the greatest blessings are to have, the elderly around us, mothers, uncles, aunts. Sir, General Grant. You're not supposed to say something.
May I say that he made one big mistake in talking to you. He called us elderly.
Yeah, I know, I meant that. What a big mistake that was. Well, I'm glad to be among all these young people.
All right, at ease, everybody.
Okay.
And would go to the house and visit the kids and get ready to go, and he would sit out on the lawn and he would just cry and cry and cry.
Oh, you said it's Ivy.
You said it's Ivan the second.
No, not Ivy the second. Are you in a trance?
I must be.
Welcome to Souljourns and to Enchanted Acres, the Grants Pass, Oregon home where Wilma and Ivan Bronkey have been hosting their annual 4th of July Sai Family Reunions for years. This Sai couple has been married for 64 years, and Wilma has led more than 50 group visits to India to see Sri Satya Sai Baba. Wilma is a longtime devotee of Sai Baba, and with Ivan's help, she opened her home here in Southern Oregon to people with disabilities. She worked with handicapped children for 30 years at Enchanted Acres, meeting the daily needs of more than 280 foster children. After coming to know Sai Baba, Wilma was called to lead special needs tour groups, as well as groups of Sai devotees to see Baba in India, and to begin holding her yearly Baba devotee family reunions here in the Rambling Hills outside of Grants Pass. Speakers would come to Grants Pass from all over the world, sharing stories about how the presence of Sai Baba in their lives would totally transform their lives. Volunteers pitch in here to pull off such elaborate 3 and sometimes 4-day reunions. There's food to prepare, campsites to ready, and other chores that require hands-on attention from dozens of willing helpers. This Souljourns video consists of excerpts from 3 of Wilma's talks since the year 2001.
I don't know why they always do this to me. I was coming to a study circle tonight, and I was going to listen to all of you and how you handle your study circle. And I end up in the middle of the circle. There's something wrong here somewhere.
This is the way we do it, Wilma.
Oh, that's the way
Whoever
you do
shows
it.
up is new.
When you go to Baba, and I'm saying you now, if you have been there or have not been there, you're going to be transformed. I don't care who you are or what you believe, you will come away with a transformation. It may be large, it may be small, but anyway, you will be transformed. And what transformed me was to change my lifestyle in the way we lived, because we used to live, you might say, kind of high on the hog, as the old saying goes. We used to have a bar in our house because that was the things that we used to do. And we used to drink beer every Saturday night, and we used to go dancing every Saturday night, my husband and I. Oh boy, thank you. Mainly, some of the changes that I noticed was that I no longer had a desire to drink beer, and we never got drunk with it. We just drank it. It was a beverage to us. I took all of the liquor bottles out of our bar. I changed our bar into an office. That's true. And we went dancing, but we didn't go dancing anywhere where there was any liquor sold. That was one major change in our lifestyle. And I found myself really paying more attention to the spiritual side of life. I was always spiritual, but it was a different spiritual. I'm going to drink it.
For you here.
Oh, I'm going to drink it. Thank you. Thank you. She's going to take it away from me. Anyway, in a sense, I think I became more mellow. I've never been a real temperamental person, but I have been temperamental. Not badly so, but definitely so. And you could raise the cockles on the back of my neck by doing the wrong thing to a child. You could do the same thing by crossing me if I was doing something that I wanted to do and you tried to stop me. All of that came to a halt very swiftly, very quickly. And I centered my life around the fact that I had met God on earth. And I felt that I was one of the most luckiest people in the world to have done that. And I also felt that if I had met God on earth, it was then my duty to represent Him in the way that He was representing me. And I guess that's the answer. That's the only answer I know. I've just gone on from there.
The reason why I ask is some people here have heard so many wonderful stories that included so many wonderful descriptions of the miracles that Baba performs, that it's easy to get drawn only to that and miss the larger part of what he represents in transforming a person's life.
Oh, that's absolutely true. We have a lot of people that go to Swami, and they will be called in for an interview, and they will have seen and heard that Baba made somebody a watch, created a watch, or the Swami created a ring, or that I'm wearing a ring that Swami gave me, and oh boy, this is what they would like. So now they go in for an interview, and Baba says to them, how are you, sir? And they will say, oh, I'm fine, Baba. And what would you like? And the first thing they say, I want a ring, Swami. I want a ring. Oh, I want a watch, Swami. Can I have a watch? I don't think that they get them that way. Although sometimes I have seen that happen, that they did, because that was their only desire and they wouldn't change their mind. I had one woman who Baba asked her, "What did you want?" And she said, "It's my birthday and I want my birthstone ring." And Baba looked at her and he said, "Today?" And she said, "No, yesterday was my birthday and I want my birthstone ring." So Swami actually swung his hand around and he created a lovely ring that just fit her finger. And she looked at it and she said, "That's not my birthstone and I'm not going to wear it." So she took it off and she put it in her purse and she said, "You didn't do what I asked you, so I'm never coming back here again." Well, that does happen. But to go to Baba and answer the question, "What do you want?" He wants you to pay attention and say, "I want to be the best I can be. I want to be filled with your love, Swami. I want to do your work, Swami. Or I want to be a part of your hands for you. Or I love you, Swami. I want whatever you think it's right for me to have." And then that's the answer that he expects you to give him. But it isn't very many people that will do that. However, if you say, "I don't know, Swami," many people have said that, "I don't know what I want, I just want you, Baba." And they end up getting a ring, or a bracelet, or 2 rings, or earrings. I've seen him give ladies beautiful earrings and rings, but they're for a purpose. When he gives you the ring and he puts it on your finger, it isn't because he wants to decorate you, believe me. It's because he's giving you a responsibility that you jolly well better live up to. Because if you don't, the ring will disappear and you may never see it again. Or the ring will bite your finger until you can't stand to wear it. Or I've seen that happen. So actually, when you go to Baba, you go to increase your spirituality, to understand more about love, to do service to mankind of those who you know, to help wherever help is needed, and to ask him for the strength to do it. And that he will give you, tenfold, pressed down and running over. Does that answer your question?
Sure does.
Okay. Anything else?
How did all your friends feel, when you stopped drinking and socializing and, took them out of your circle?
You can't imagine how many we lost. When they couldn't come on Saturday night and go with us and go dancing and have a few beers and we paid for them, we lost several friends, I'll guarantee you, if you could have called them friends in the first place. But that's where discernment comes. We had not discerned who was our friends and who was not. We hadn't paid attention to the value of the people that we knew. And most of them, which is really funny, that I know now, none of them drink. Some of them come to bhajans, and their lives too have changed.
Wilma, we've got about 75 people here. On Monday nights, we normally have maybe 30, 25 to 35. And I know many people here really know very, very little about Sai Baba. Could you tell us who he is?
How is he coming to Baba's?
How did he come to Baba?
How did Baba come to you?
Well, first of all, who is Baba? What is Baba? That's what you are asking first. To me, Baba is the creator of mankind, of the world, of everything that we see, everything that we breathe, everything that we taste, everything that we do. And if you have no idea of Baba at all, that would be very hard for you to imagine. It would be hard for you to put that together when you look out and you see, it's a beautiful tree. My, that's a beautiful tree. But if you look out and you see that that is God with leaves and blossoms and green, that's going to drop those leaves once a year, and again in the spring the leaves are going to blossom out again without you doing anything for it, and you realize who did it, then you're looking at a facet of God. If you see the sun come up in the morning, that is God. If you light a fire and it burns like you want it to, that is God, giving it the energy and the power to burn. If you see water running, that is God. So who is God? It's not who is God, it's what is God. It can be any God that you want to call it, because I don't care what name you call your God, it is the same God with a different name. It's like going to a dozen different countries with a dozen different languages, and everybody seeing a statue, all naming it what they call it in their language. It's the same statue. It hasn't changed any, because one of you calls it one thing and one of you call it another, or you could call it a horse if it looks like a cow. It isn't going to change the statue, and it isn't going to change the form of God, the power of God, the essence of God. It can't change it. And we fight over, oh, my God's name is this and this and this, and you're wrong, you shouldn't be calling them that and something else, and you have the wrong religion and you worship the wrong being. What difference does it make? Because it's all one being someplace. If we think that it's all different beings and all different people, we'd better take another look at our thinking. We better realize how we got here. Each of you are a different person. Each of you walk a different path. But you're all people. You are all people. And you can't change that. Just because I call you blonde and I call you brown-haired, and because I call you a lady in a blue sweater, does that mean that you're not a person and not a human being? No, it does not. God is the one being, the one power that answers our prayers, no matter who we pray to, whether we pray to a tree or whether we pray to a blade of grass, in an emergency, whether we sit on a mountain or whether we go into a church. If we pray and we believe that there is a God, you will get your answer. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're a soldier on a field. It doesn't matter if you're floating out in the ocean and you're drowning. A boat will come and pick you up. And who sent the boat? Who heard the prayer? Who heard the cry? Was it someone with a name? I don't think so. That's my opinion. He asked me for my opinion, and that's what it is. And I walk among people of every faith. I walk among people of every color. I love people of every faith and every color, every creed. I don't care what you are. It doesn't make any difference. I'll hug you just the same. And I will hug any one of you. I don't know if you've been bad. I don't know if you've been good. I don't know if you've cheated on your wife. I could care less. Because when I hug you, it is because I love the soul of you, and because I can hug you with faith and know that that touch can help you. And your touch can definitely help me.
The second part
He
was
says that was nice. Well, that was true.
So who is Sai Baba?
So who's Sai Baba? He's all those things. He is all those things. I have seen him in his form as this beautiful man in the orange robe. I have seen him when he was a dog. He wasn't a man at all. And I have heard a story from a woman who had the same experience, very much the same experience, that I'll tell you a story that will represent that. This man and his wife wanted Baba to come and have lunch with them so badly. You've heard that. And they went to darshan, and they said to Swami, Swami, we want you to come for lunch. We're fixing a beautiful lunch for you. Will you come to lunch tomorrow? Swami said, yes, I will come to lunch tomorrow. So they rushed home, and she cleaned every corner of her little small house. And he went out and he swept the sidewalk, and he just made everything perfect at the gate. He made sure the hinges were fitting good because Swami was going to come to lunch. So now comes the day when Swami was to come to lunch, and they just waited. They fixed food and they set it on the table, and they had a glass of nice cold water for Baba, and they were so thrilled. And Baba didn't come. And darshan was over, and Baba was late. And then, all of a sudden, a little dog burst through the gate. And he knocked the gate down, and he come running in, and he got mud all over her floor. And the sidewalk, he kicked the gravel up all over the sidewalk. And the man took a broom, and he beat him with a broomstick, and chased him out, and locked the gate. And they were devastated. Now Baba was going to come, and the floor was dirty, and the sidewalk, and they hurried and swept and washed and wiped, and the food was almost all gone because the dog had eaten it, and no Baba. So the next day they went to darshan, and they were just heartbroken. You broke your word, Swami. You didn't come. And we waited and waited and waited, and Swami, you didn't come. And Baba looked down at them, and he said, but I was at your house. No, you weren't. You didn't come to our house. He said, oh, yes, I did. I came to visit you. But you beat me with a stick. You beat me with a broomstick. You kicked me out of the gate, and you didn't give me any food. To test them, he went as a little dog. Another time, Swami told us, we had darshan, and they were passing the sweets around that they always pass around on certain special days. And so this one person had this sweet and wanted Baba to take a taste of their sweet. And he held it out, and there was a fly lid on it. And he said, but Swami, please have a bite. And Swami said, I already tasted it. I just flew away. He's all things. He's all beings. He can be anywhere, anytime that he wants to be. He has saved many lives that were trying to commit suicide. He has been there when he was talking to us, and he was sitting in his chair in the temple, and all of a sudden we were singing bhajans, and all of a sudden he'd been sitting there pounding his hand like so, and he stopped and his hand laid still. His eyes were open, and he was just looking out over the crowd, and he continued to look, and we continued to sing. And after a while, he started keeping time again to the music. And they wanted to know if he was all right. And he said yes, he had been gone. He had gone to England and he had saved a boy from jumping down into a well and committing suicide. And he had to get the boy away from the well, and then he was back. In another form? Yes, another form. While the form that we knew sat there in front of us in the England newspaper from London was the story of Baba saving a boy from the well. They had seen him come and grabbed the boy before he jumped into the well and saved his life and talked to him a few minutes and disappeared. Yes?
Can you tell the story about the bank deposit?
Well, I'll make that part of it short because I needed money to go to India and I didn't have the money to go to India. And we never had any money in our bank account. That's not anything new and different. So anyway, in order to find out how much money I had in the bank, to see how much I would have to try to get a hold of, I went to the bank to find out how much I had in the account. And I had $8 in the bank. Well, the trip to India was going to cost $900 and some odd cents. And so I said, I just wanted to know how much I had. And she said, wait a minute. She said, you had a deposit last night. Let me take a look and see how much was it. I said, no, I didn't deposit any money last night. I wasn't at the bank last night. And she said, just a minute. She said, I'm sure that, I forget the lady's name, the other teller, put it into your account and told me this morning, be sure you put this on the Bronkey's account. So she went over and used her keys and looked up the money, and I had in my account $908. So I said, that's impossible because I didn't put $900 in the bank. And she said, my dear, it's right here. I said, nobody could put it in the bank because they'd have to have my bank account number, and I have my checkbook with me. And she said, no, 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 they had your number. She said, the gentleman had your number. He came in, a little gentleman, in an orange dress. He was dressed rather funny. He was in an orange dress, black curly hair, and he deposited the money in your account for you. So that was the money that I had, and we added a little more to it, and I went to India with that.
Wilma?
Yes.
The other story of you being in the temple and Baba sat on your feet, that was the first time I had heard of anything like that. When you were in the back and then you moved up front and you weren't
Yes. Yes.
I think that the concept that you brought to that of time and space was really one of the most fabulous things that I've ever heard.
Okay. I have to think on this a little bit. I guess I'll start with where we were sitting outside of the temple on the women's side of the temple, and then they would take us in and we could all sit in rows inside of the temple, and we had to be very, very quiet. And those were the days when we could take tape recorders, we could take anything we wanted, our cameras and all of these things. So when I went to India, I tried to take as much as I could possibly take and not get in trouble. So I had a tape recorder that was as big as that black bag that's down there on the floor. And I had a Jiffy Polaroid camera that I had on a cord around my neck, and I had a small camera the snapshot type camera. I had that with me. I had my purse, which is a 3-compartmented purse with zippers on the top and a big strap over the top. I had my pillows because sitting on the marble floor is very, very difficult for me, even back then. And I had all of these things with me so that in the temple I'd be comfortable. And I wanted to see Baba sitting in his chair again and hear him sing the bhajans, and we just loved to do that. All of us that was over there, and me especially. So I had all these things with me. I get in, and I'm in about the 6th or I don't know what row back, but 5th or 6th row back. And I get sat down in the middle of the row from the wall to the aisle, in the middle of that row. And as I was sitting there, Don Heath, who had another tour in at the same time, was over on the men's side, and he was down front by the double doors, and Baba was outside still giving darshan. And Don yelled at me, and he said, "Wilma, sit down front. Go to the front row. You're not supposed to talk in the temple. You're not supposed to cough in the temple. You're not supposed to sneeze in the temple, or you'll get sent out." And Don is standing up, yelling my name, telling me to move down front. And I said, and he said, "Wilma, move down front." "No, Don, shut up." All around me, that meaning shut up. And so I'm trying to be quiet, and I'm trying to sit still. I'm trying to ignore Don. I don't see him at all. "Wilma, get up and go down front. Go on, go down front." And I thought, I can't shut him up. I've got to go down front. I'm going to have to go down front. Now, to get up off of the floor like these ladies are sitting there on a pillow with all these things around my neck and a tape recorder at my feet, and I'm cross-legged, and I have to get out of a row with people sitting so close to me you couldn't have put an envelope down between us. I had to get up and go down front or hear him continue to tell me to go down front. And he's standing up and he's not sitting down. So I tried to get up, and as I tried to get up, I'm banging everybody with the camera that's in front of me, and I'm pinching everybody that I'm pressing down on their legs so that I could get up. And the tape recorder is clattering and banging the lady in the rear, in the front of me, and I'm trying to get out of this hole in the floor. Well, I finally got up on my feet, and everybody now is getting worried, so they're moving, separating. They're not going to let me touch them if they can help it, and I don't blame them. Anyway, I start down through the aisle, and I'm stepping over people, and I'm trying to hold this crazy tape recorder so that the flapper doesn't come open and the batteries fall out of it, because it's an old one. And I finally got down to the front row. Now, across the front row is a big, wide, white line that goes across, and you're not to put your feet across that line no matter what, because on that side is Baba's territory, and we just don't put our feet over there. That's not done. So when I get down to the front, these people in the front row are trying to make room for me to sit down, and there's too much of me and not much room to sit. And I finally got squashed down in there, and I got the tape recorder. I put my purse under my knees. I could get rid of that. And I get my feet up like this, and I've got this camera's hanging out here on my clothes. Oh, and I have my glasses too, by the way. And so as I did, I developed Charlie horses, muscle spasms. They were excruciating. They weren't easy ones. They were just excruciating. And I couldn't get my feet up. I couldn't get my feet down. I didn't know what to do with them. And the line is out here. And my feet are going beyond the line, and I had to stretch my feet out, and I stretched them out as much as I could, and oh, they hurt so bad. And then I thought, I can't have my feet out here. Baba's coming in the door. So he's coming in, oh, I can't do this. So hurt or no hurt, I've got to get him back. So I'm getting my feet back, and I couldn't cross them. I tried, and I could not cross my feet. So I thought, well, I'll put him this way. I'll just hold him this way. And I've got this tape recorder. What will I do with it? I don't know what to do with it. And my purse is under my knees, and that's sticking me. I could think of a dozen things that was hurting me. Not just one or two, but a dozen that was making me hurt. And so while I'm looking at all of this and looking to see what to do, and I just closed my eyes and thought, oh, sit down, Baba, in your chair, and so you can't see. I'll get my sari down over my feet and so forth. And just then, in front of me is an orange robe. Oh, I've had it now. I'll get kicked out of here. There's no doubt about that. And as I looked up at Swami, and he looks down in my eyes, and he walked up on both of my feet. He just walked right up on them, and he stood on them with his full weight on my feet, and he tapped his feet. And all the pain disappeared in my legs, all of it. And the power that flowed through me was like I would have stepped on an electric light cord or something that was standing in water. It was unbelievable. I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, I just sat there. And he's on my feet, and I wanted to cry, I couldn't laugh, I couldn't do anything. I just sat there. And he stepped back and looked down at me and smiled, very happy, and walked away to his chair. So after he got sat down in his chair, I tried to pull my legs back, and I thought, what's the use? He's already stood on them. I'll just leave them where they are. There's no use moving them now. So after we sang bhajans and everything, and Swami got up, we did the arati, and Swami got up, and he left and went around to his room to go upstairs, and all the women are standing up. And so now, of course, I was very popular. So I had lots of help to get up. All the women are helping me stand up, and they're picking up all of my stuff to help me get out of the temple. And so I'm walking out through the temple door when Indra Devi stopped me, and she said, Wilma, you were taken off of the time machine? And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, Baba took you off of the time machine. Time will never mean anything to you anymore. Don't you know what he did? No, I don't know what he did. I know he stood on me, but I don't know what he did. He stood on your feet. And when he stands on your feet, it's the same thing he did to me. And he told me, now I have taken you off of the time machine, and time will not be important to you anymore. So she said, you ask him if you get another interview, but you have been taken off of the time machine. And true to her word, time began to change for me completely. Absolutely, completely, still does. I don't sleep very long at night. I don't need to sleep, and I haven't for years and years and years, not since I've been there. He gave me that gift. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift, the gift of time. And I've had 2 heart attacks where I almost died. The last one, they told my husband they didn't know if they could save me, and they did. The time that I was involved meant nothing. The first heart attack, I traveled to India 2 weeks after I had major heart surgery, and it didn't bother me. Things are just different for me, just much, much different for me. And people that work around me, they all know that. I'll be in the house and Ivan will say, I need this or need that. Well, I already got that for you. Well, when did you do that? I don't know. I did it. I know that. Well, are you going to have someone come and make the beds today? No, I did that already. Well, when did you do that? I don't know. I did it. That type of thing. It doesn't mean anything to me until my body gets so tired that I can't do anything more. It has nothing to do with my thinking or my thinking of time. It's just that the body is getting older, and when it gets older, it decides that it gets a little tired once in a while. But me, myself, I don't get tired.
I have a question, Wilma. Baba's going to live to be 96. Has he ever told anybody who's ever had an interview with him, will you be with him in his next life when he comes here?
Oh.
He's never.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Not me. He said I had been with him before, and that I had been with Shirdi Baba, and that I had been a doctor in many lifetimes, and that he told my husband and I that we had been married 7 times before. And he told my husband that he had been the President of the United States, that he had been General Grant, and he had been the leader of an army, a big army. And so he suffers his karma from the things that he had to do during that time. And he has told us things like that, but he doesn't say what's in the future, no.
I think if I ever had an interview, I would ask him that.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Can you share a story about your 262 children?
Oh, honey.
One story.
There's not really a story about it because they came to us 1 and 2 at a time, 4 at a time. We were only supposed to, by law, have 5 children, and by state law, the governor gave us special dispensation by sending his mother to us on top of beside the children, and then he had other children that he felt needed our home, that we could help, and he sent more, and so 14 at a time was our top limit. And we had 14 at a time. We traveled with them. We took them places. We taught them how to behave when they were out and about, and how to, let's say, behave if we went to a motel or something, their responsibility. They don't tear things apart, and they don't act up, and they don't run and jump, and they don't act foolish where they're not supposed to. And there's places to do those things, and there's places where you don't. And we started just teaching and loving and hugging and kissing our kids all before they went to school, no matter who they were. Christmas time, all of our kids, our own blood children, and the children that we had the same amount and value of Christmas presents. Our Christmas tree sat in the middle of the floor like they're sitting in the middle of the floor. And the ring of things around the tree would go clear to the wall, and you could hardly step through. We never showed any partiality. People couldn't tell which children were ours except for their color. Sometimes they could tell that they didn't belong to us. We took them to places where they could learn. We let them be in all the parades, the Rose Festival parade, all those things. They were our children. And so as one grew up and got married, another one filled in that space, and as little ones grew up and went into the service and into the Navy and into the Army. We had 5 boys all the same age, and they all went into the service at the same time, and they all left, and 5 more came in. And
What discipline? Discipline. Did you discipline them?
Discipline? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we had some pretty ornery kids. We got teenagers that, they were bad children. They were really bad. They had done many things that were very, very bad.
How do you manage to love them, though their behaviors may not please you?
I have had these children where they actually had been acting out, and I'd set them down on a chair to talk to them, and I have stood behind them and hugged them and kissed them and scolded the heck out of them. Because I don't give in. If they're doing something that's wrong, and I let them do something that's wrong, then it's my responsibility for allowing it to happen. I never beat any of them. I never kicked a child. I've never slapped a child, ever. I've never had to. But we always started the minute that they came in if they were older, or the minute they were born if they were younger. And you start from the beginning. And when you get the older ones that are acting out, they're like little children begging for help. Those kids that are out there that's doing all these things, they're begging for help. They aren't being loved, I'll guarantee you. And I have a girl who, she calls me mom too. They're an Indian family, and we're all kind of integrated in this Indian family. And she went to New York to study, and she's was studying art and music and dance. And she became the Miss America Indian for, I forget, it's been 4 years ago anyway. And after that, she decided that she would go down in the lowest part of New York, and she was going to help those kids that were down there running the streets with their guns and all this stuff, and she was going to teach them dance and teach them music and teach them art. And she did. She went down on her own, beautiful woman, and she did just that. And she's got all these kids in classes. She's put on plays and she's put on musicals. She's done all these things because she loved every one of them. And those kids just love her. Some of them are up to 22 years of age or a little over. And she's only, let's see, what is she now? She's 24, I think. And with love and devotion and the decision that she was going to straighten them out and show them what love really was, she has done it. And she's done it all by herself. Then she met a young man who had the same desires, and I married them, it's been 1.5 years ago, and he's working with her now, and they have just turned that area upside down. It can be done. And they were all almost incorrigible, all of them.
What about miracles in your house?
Pardon?
In your house, the miracles in your house.
Miracles in our house.
Just a little bit of explanation. What's happening?
Vibhuti all over the pictures all the time.
Can you see that bedroom one somewhere? The bedroom you had, each bedroom had vibhuti.
Yeah, we had a girl who was acting out real badly, and she got angry and she went upstairs to her bedroom. And she came downstairs feeling much better, decided she was feeling better. And she had gray dust all over the bottom of her slacks. And I asked her what she had sat down in, and she said, I don't know, I sat down on the bed. Why? And I said, because you've got something, powder, bath powder, something all over your pants. So she went up to look, and she came back and told me, come up and see what's on my bed. So I did. And on her bed was vibhuti, and where she had turned the bed back, between the sheets was vibhuti. And when we looked in the other bedrooms upstairs to see if they had the same thing, because was she special or was she not, or what happened, every bed had vibhuti between the sheets, down in the sheets, under the pillows, all over the bed. And our bed, when I went to bed that night, when I turned our sheets back, There was vibhuti from the top, but where the pillow was, all the way down to the foot of the bed. Yes, now I'll get to you in the blue shirt.
Based on your limited years here, you've lived through some traumatic times on this earth. Have you seen a shift that causes you to either have hope or hopelessness for the future? Have you detected a shift in terms of where society is today versus maybe where it was 50 years ago?
Down through the centuries, if you will remember your history, there was always a shift. First it would go from good to bad, and then it would go from bad to good, and then it would go from good to bad. And we're in the middle of that transformation now. And Baba says that the world will change, and that I thought it was supposed to be in 2002 that it would begin to turn to love. And the evil would destroy evil, and good would build on good. That's all I know. Yes?
So many of us did not have chance to see Swami till we came to know about Swami for 2 years or 3 years. Will that help in the transformation, or seeing Swami directly once and then getting into his Sai group will transform a person quickly?
Yes, it will help. It will help. You just work together, and if you do what he says, that's what he's telling us now. His instructions are do service and love God. And you are God's. So who do you love? You love yourself and you love your neighbors because they're all God's, you're all God's. And to be, you might say, good soldiers, you better learn to march with the group. That's all I know.
Sometimes it is very difficult to follow Swami. You know, we have like a limited time to go for service, or as you said, not to show our love all the time. We get irritated or lose our emotions. But do the time really feel bad that we are not following Sai? That itself is okay, or try to improve day by day?
Oh, try to improve, absolutely. You know the answer to that. You don't have to ask that.
But it's not only the thought in us, it brings us the change. I think the Swami's help, and somewhere or other, really know, he has to like either give us, or like this, the satsang, or like the good company and everything, build up the confidence and build up the faith and take him closer to him. But at times it's really not doubting his godliness, but our own self, how to get rid of that feeling.
Don't you think everybody does that? Don't you think it's hard for everybody to change? And let me tell you, it wasn't easy for us to change. Not at all. Not at all. Still not easy. There's lots of things I know that I should be thinking and doing that I'm not getting done. But you'll get there. I intend to get there. Somehow get them done. Yeah, I do.
There's just one question.
Yes.
I have a request from a number of people. They still want to hear how you came into Baba.
There is a tape out that you could find that out. I don't know who's got a tape. I don't know who's got a copy.
Maybe a short version of that? Maybe a short version.
Ted has a tape of that. Get in touch with tape. Get in touch with Ted and see if you can have him make you a copy.
Could you share the rainbow story?
Oh, rainbow stories.
And that's a short one. I'll do that. What time is it?
8:30. It's about that time. So we'll get time for a rainbow.
Last story.
Okay. This gentleman was really unhappy with Swami. And he told him, he said, I know that you're a magician, and I know that you don't control the world, and I know, and he went on to tell him all the things he knew that Baba was not. And so he said, if you are who you say you are, and this nice, bright, sunny day, you can make all these rings and things, why don't you make me a rainbow? And so Baba stood there and looked at him, and he looked up, and standing right up in front of him, going all the way to the heavens, was the most beautiful rainbow you could ever imagine, in the middle of a sunny, bright day.
Vertical rainbow? Yeah.
Vertical.
Straight.
He made it straight up. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that, Wilma?
No, I didn't see the rainbow. I was on the grounds, but I didn't see the rainbow because I wasn't down there. But it was so close, I felt like I saw it, because everybody on the grounds has seen it except. Yes.
Tell us the story that you haven't told anybody because you thought it was a little too far, but you've been waiting for the right moment to tell.
Oh my goodness. Well, I told one of those one day just recently. I don't know which day, but I told one like that.
Do you feel like telling about when you looked in his eyes?
Well, I haven't told many people about that, no. Baba had called us into the inner room, my husband and I, and he always gives you a private interview, or he doesn't always, but he gives private interviews. And so he was standing in front of me, and Ivan was sitting over on the side, and he was standing in front of me, and I was talking to him. And I looked directly into his eyes, and he looked directly into mine. And the most amazing thing happened. Within his eyes was all the world, worlds upon worlds upon worlds. And it was like they were in layers, and like with each layer, you could see through that layer to the next layer. And I could see on and on the most gorgeous scenery, the most beautiful, beautiful scenery that was between two rock walls. And the other side of that scenery then was like like I would be walking into a valley, and the grass was so green, and there was animals, there was dogs, there was cows, there was animals, and beyond that was another slice that was like a world of color and beauty and flowers, and it was just incredibly beautiful. The colors were so bright. They're like colors that I have not seen on this earth. And beyond that, there was more scenes and more scenes. There was water, there was oceans, and there was just one world sliced on top of the other, on the other, and I'm looking straight through Swami's eyes, like I would be looking down that tube into infinity. And then all of a sudden, the shutter dropped and they were gone.
And what did he say?
I didn't hear you.
What did he say?
What did he
Are you
say?
happy now?
Oh, yes, now, are you happy? Are you happy? He always says, another thing he always says to me, because no matter how I feel and no matter how tired I am, when I get over there, he will say to me, "And how are you, sir?" And I always say, "I'm wonderful, Swami." And he always looks down at me and he says, "Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful, happy, happy, happy." And he knows I'm not wonderful. He definitely ought to know that by then.
Respecting and abiding by